welcome to the GT4 Round 3 pre-commentary, post-commentary, current commentary. Coming to you live on tape play. I am very attractive, and with me, as always, is the author of the spicy space adventure novel 50 Shades of Earl Grey, Michael Magus.
Someone needs to do that novel, actually. As you were explaining that, I was like, why is that not a thing?
Why is also, happy 72nd birthday to Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits.
Ah, money for nothing, baby.
Sultans of Swing.
It's actually literally the only two songs of theirs that I can name.
Oh, I can name a lot. They made a lot of good music.
I know that they did, but like only the Sultans of Swing and Money for Nothing really like stick in my brain. I don't know what it is.
I would recommend getting a hold of their album Brothers in Arms and
no, like
listening to shit out of it.
It's like I'll hear a song and be like, that's Dire Straits, but like
Correct.
I won't actually make that full on mental connection between the two.
You can always tell it's Dire Straits because only Mark Knopfler's guitar sounds like that.
True. I mean, I'm sure there's like a Dire Straits knockout band somewhere that.
I'm sure people can play it, but it doesn't sound like that.
Why is Don Belanger still given the AM scorecard? So the 84 car is listed as an AM car. I am entirely certain that it is not, because Don Belanger is, well, you can see him up there in second place. So, I mean, site number one, but number two, he's platinum driver within ESR, so that's got to be an entry list error, I would think. So we got two races of Silverstone here, 2 25-minute races, I want to say, and which is an interesting choice because, of course, this is a 2+ minute lap. You're seeing there 209, 218, so let's call it 2 minutes 10 just for easiness. And over 25 minutes, that's going to be like only 10 laps. So that's going to be, 12, I guess. 12, 13 laps. Either way, going to be very, very short. Stuart Bartosiak, who I finally remember what the first name of him is up there with Don Belanger, Matt Higgs, Max Simmons, Paul Riccobeni, Neil Sutherland, Jeff Wentworth, William Murrah, Mika Watt, and... Sorry, Mr. Avila, I don't know your first name. I want to say it's Freddie, but I feel like that's a baseball player that I happen to know.
Federico.
and that's maybe not his name. We'll find out. John Archie, Jamie Bayliss, Mark Sutherland, Dominic Turcott, Zach Martin, Jake Keckley. I don't know Mr. Otan. What is your first name? Please let us know.
Bro, we figured that out last episode. I forgot.
Okay, well, we both forgot. That doesn't count then.
Well, you know what? You're supposed to remember, Mr. Photogenic Memory.
Well, the problem is that, okay, so for most people, I would just look at the race app and find out their name, right? Problem, Mr. Otan's name is Guy 1C on race app.
Oh, he's obviously French.
Not helping me.
Guy 1C, ha ha ha.
So, not actually assisting me. Guillermo Martinez, Tony Yimbo, Trevor Cheney, Cole McRae, Art Mitchell, who has kindly provided his name after we didn't know it last time. Antonio Santos, Skylar Castor, and Cliff Hemian did not post a lap time, so he will start at the back of the 25-car grid. Any predictions here early on, Byron?
I think most of the cars will keep all the tires.
Okay. Well, Martin's not in the race, so yeah. Ooh, 5 minutes. We got time to kill it here. Okay. Don't really have much to talk about today because there's no UFC card this weekend. I was listening to the MMA.
Is there not?
Yeah, well, so I always remember because I listen to a channel called Bloody Elbow on Spotify, and they produce, when there's a fight card, they produce a show called The Vivisection where they break down the fights and, you know.
Oh, is that where you've been talking about this thing for, I don't know, a decade, and you've never actually told me where the fuck I'm supposed to find this?
Oh, well, you can find it anywhere. They have their own website. There's YouTube. There's Spotify. Like it's literally.
Yeah, but I'm lazy.
Okay, I will link you up to the.
If it's on Spotify, I can just look it up.
Okay, yeah. Bloody Elbow on Spotify. There you go.
Fair enough.
And when there's no fight card, they do a show called The Depressed Us, where they basically watch what they think are bad fights and kind of punish themselves, sort of thing. Self-flagellation, I guess. Although the irony is that half the time they find out that they actually enjoy the fights that they picked. Like, they're like, This like the most common phrase that is uttered on the Deprestus is basically, you know what? This fight is not nearly as bad as I remembered. And today's offerings were Carlos Condit versus Neil Magny, Donald Cerrone versus Miles Jury, and Nate Diaz versus Stun Gun Kim.
I mean, anything with the Fury in it is probably going to be pretty okay.
Actually, I would say Cerrone versus Miles Jury actually is the worst fight of those three.
Really?
It's just one of those like stylistic matchups that just doesn't really fit together very well.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Whereas the most exciting probably was honestly Stun Gun versus Diaz, but that's because I loved watching Stun Gun throw Diaz around.
That is always a positive thing.
And Magny versus Condit is not really a bad fight. It's just kind of a depressing one because it was during Carlos Condit's like 5-fight losing streak where you're just kind of like, can Carlos Condit please retire and save us from like, tarnishing all of our good memories? But he's randomly kind of refound himself here lately. So go figure. He's having like a third wind in his career. This is what happens when we get a 5-minute break between qualifying and the race.
One could almost say that he has found a conduit to future success.
Ooh, very nicely done, sir. So I was listening to that while I was getting groceries, and I'll finish it up afterwards because they're in the middle of the Stun Gun Kim versus Diaz fight.
That would took you 5 hours.
No! I would have finished it if I was actually just listening to it, dude.
Hey, you want to do commentary? Yeah, sure. How about 6 my time? Yeah, no problem. Leaves the house to go get groceries in like Mississauga.
I thought that would take a lot shorter time than it did. I thought I'd be here. I would be home no later than 9:30 my time, which is 6:30 your time.
I had time to kill a whole hour, then go and do a booze saunter, and then come on back and pour myself a drink and sit back down before you even showed up.
Mm-hmm. But I had to cash in my coupons.
That is important.
Indeed. Basically, so the grocery store I shop at offers points for like 15 random items a week, and you want to take advantage of that because if you pile up the points, you get money off your groceries. So
correct. I have 2 free pizzas waiting for me I will have 2 free pizzas waiting for me the next time I order from Pizza Hut.
Nice.
It's not bad. But I'm waiting for them to put on the 585 deal, so you buy your 1 large pizza, and you can order 3 more mediums for $5 each. Mm-hmm. And then if you've got free pizzas saved up, you're already ordering technically 1 large, regularly priced pizza, so you can cash in your shit. So you can get a whole bunch of pizza, a mountain of pizza for like $50 after delivery and tip and whatnot.
That's a lot of pizza.
It's a lot of pizza. It's one of those, it's going to be a long weekend. Oh, they got the 585 deal on. But ding! I don't have to leave the house at all.
Indeed. We're still waiting for things to go here. Everyone should be in their car now, counting down here.
Probably.
Be interesting to see the traction control and ABS-less Maserati leading the way. Let's see. Do we have a particularly favored car in the field? Well, we get 3 Aston Martins in the top 10. It's pretty nice. 2 Beamers, 2 Porsches, a Mercedes, 1 Audi, 1 Maserati. I would have thought the McLarens would have done better here, but I'm seeing them all outside the top 10. The top one is, we're going with Freddie Avila until I'm proven otherwise. It's one of those weird things. Like I legitimately think I'm thinking of some kind of celebrity when I say Freddie Avila, like a baseball player or something.
Wasn't there a fighter named Freddie Aguilar?
Not that I recall.
And we were off. Freddie Aguilar being a name. Silverstone.
The only Freddie in MMA I could think of was Freddie Serrano.
Muy caliente.
Right. Side-by-side action between John Archie getting shoved. That was Mika Watt, I think, in the Aston Martin that was giving him a little bit of the business, but they are heading through Maggots and Beckett's with a relatively fine precision here. We will not get we'll get a timing update, I think, on the way into Stowe, which is the next turn coming up. So we'll see if anybody's made any moves, anyone's moved anywhere. And it is Boulanger in the lead, so we do have a change of lead. Bartosiak second, Higgs, Simmons, Murrah, Sutherland. Rickabenny's fallen back to 7th place. Archie. Archie trying to get past What again. In the background there it is the McLarens of, I believe, Avila and Bayless, as well as the Porsche of Dominic Turca. Hey, Dominic's got my Allied racing car. It's the first Porsche livery that I've really, really liked.
What about the one where they just poured gas all over the car and light it on fire?
Oh, I'd love that. That's because I hate Porsches.
That would be a dope.
Actually, it's not that I hate Porsches. It's that I've said this before. I'll say it again. It's that we get a bunch of like brand new racers to sim racing, like guys who haven't really done a lot of sim racing. They're like, I'm gonna race the Porsche. I'm like, that's a really unique car. It's a really odd car. It's kind of difficult. And then I have to listen to them for the entire season complain about the Porsche they built. Like, that's why I hate the Porsche. There was a side-by-side action going on through there. I think it was trying to get around Wentworth, but Wentworth in the Mercedes, I think, is holding position, although we're looking at maybe a third wide heading into Brooklyn's left field here on the Wellington Straight. Archie looking to the inside, nothing doing at the time. A lot of action here. Tightly packed, 25-minute race, so everybody is looking for anything they can get right now. Neil Sutherland pushed wide in his Porsche. He might drop back. Bartosiak's dropped back to 5th place, so something happened there. We ride on board with Matt Higgs, who's up to 2nd place. Murrah to 3rd. Simmons, Bartosiak. Rickabenny's up to 6th. Wentworth to 7th, so Sutherland slots back at 8th. Followed by Archie, Avila, Bayless, Turcotte. The other Sutherland. Keckley, Tan, Martinez, Mitchell, Martin, and Trevor Cheney, your top 20. Do I have to say Trevor Cheney today? Are both Cheneys here? I don't see the other one. So maybe just Trevor.
Perhaps he is not a solid link in the chain.
It's kind of weird. It seems like only one Cheney shows up like per race a lot. It's a bit odd.
Perhaps the chains of brotherhood are not that strong.
I'm told that they are farmers, so perhaps one is doing something around the farm, and then the other one gets to race. I don't know what that is. I don't know.
That could vary. One's on night shift, got to pull in the wheat, and no, it's not. That doesn't happen.
It could be a situation like we had the twin sisters back in the academy days who.
Oh yeah, what happened?
They poke around every now and then, but I don't think they race with us in any series. Huh. Maybe we'll go see if we can fix that.
Yeah, scare them up again. They were getting real good.
They were. One was particularly. It was kind of weird because me and Andy Blade got to the point where we actually could tell which one was driving the car, which was kind of interesting. They developed two like very different styles of driving. It's kind of interesting. One was more cautious and conservative and consistent. The other one was, I'm coming through, bitches. But maybe they got a similar situation there where it's like, only one wheel and it's the faster one gets to race sort of thing. I don't know. But Belanger in the lead still. We brought on board with Higgs. I shouldn't say really still, but he has been in the lead since basically the start of the race. He got in front of Bartosiak. They're quite a ways up there. They got 2 seconds back to the BMW William Murrah, who's had an excellent early going here. He qualified low top 10 and is up to 3rd place, so tip the hat to him. Although he has just lost 3rd place to Max Simmons. We missed that. So Murrah slipping back. Bartosiak, Rickabenny, Wentworth, Sutherland, and Archie are kind of settled in the order right now. We'll see what happens. Good battles kind of all around. Not a lot of gaps forming. The largest gap in the field is actually the one between 2nd and 3rd place, Higgs to Simmons, which is only about 2.5 seconds.
Simmons, I believe, will be
I
cheating here very shortly, too.
I see Martinez is 4.7 back, so actually that's the largest gap in the field. But still, things are very up for grabs. Good to see, because this is a pretty long track here, and usually there's a fair gap from position to position, and it's not really happening here. So that means everyone's kind of on their game and really bringing it. I want to give my compliments to Art Mitchell, who at Snetterton was really kind of a non-factor, and he's up in 17th place, having a pretty solid race so far in the BMW.
But
Pick up
which one of
Jeff.
them has the cheat codes to put 5 more RPM in their engine?
Well, it'd be horsepower in the engine.
Well, you would like to think that, but I'm using metric
Ooh,
engines.
Neil Sutherland thought about it. There's also a side-by-side going on there. Somebody is dropping back. Looks like there's a custom livery at play. Oh, it's Bartosiak. Okay, it's probably because there's only one Maserati livery in the game that perhaps he has been given a dispensation to run a custom.
Perhaps.
Although
Or
I don't think
perhaps
there's
we will
another
have him
one.
executed.
Paul Riccobeni going side by side with Bartosiak just outside the camera shot. It's kind of bugging me that we're not getting the... There we go. Now we can see it. That's... Oh no! Riccobeni gets punted by Bartosiak.
He's probably distracted by some weird shenanigans I posted in his DMs.
It could be. That actually can be really distracting when we get VM. That pop up on the screen. I have finally disabled my Discord overlay on the sim racing games.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't do that automatically.
The problem is when you're an admin, sometimes the PM is from somebody who actually needs like immediate help.
What are you supposed to do? Just park your car on the side of the road? And
well, no, like I have it up during like qualifying or practice sort of thing. That's what it is.
A likely story.
And I'll get to them when I'm finished my stint sort of thing. So Paul Riccobeni rejoins in 14th place behind Sutherland, Mark Sutherland. Up ahead of them is Dominic Turcotte and Jamie Bayliss. They're falling a little bit off the top 10. About a second between Bayliss and 1.2 seconds between Avila and Bayliss. We just got a timing update there. So this is kind of the second group right now. So you got the top 10, which is group 1. Group 2 is 11th down to about 19th. And then it starts to get a little bit spread out. Skylar Castor dropping back. Cole McRae is apparently already down a lap, so problems for the Ginetta boy at his home. Well, I guess one of his home races, because of course this is a British series. So we've been to Snetterton, we've been to Brands Hatch, this is Silverstone, and we'll be to Wilton Park, I think, next. And then the only non-British round on the calendar is Zolder.
Actually, I believe next we're going to Wolverhampton, upon Tyne, upon Spurs, upon Liverpool.
And then the season finale at Donington Park. Not really sure what the deal with Donington being after Zolder. Okay.
Well, they've scheduled it around the concerts.
Stuart Bartowski. We got to talk about that custom livery, my friend. That is kind of hideous.
Actually, I had no idea Donington was a racetrack at all until we started doing this. Because all I know is that they hold a big ass festival every year, music festival.
It's kind of the third biggest racetrack in Britain, actually.
Well, I mean, but they're only the second one's only about 15 feet long, though.
The second one is Brands Hatch.
Well, that's like 7.5 feet.
It's Silverstone, Brands Hatch, Donington Park. They're the three existing British tracks that have hosted the British Grand Prix for Formula One. Although I think Donington technically hosted the air quote European Grand Prix, which is just basically Formula One's way of getting a second Grand Prix into certain countries, be it Italy or Germany, Britain, that sort of thing.
Luxembourg.
Well, never Luxembourg, but that would not be bad.
San Marino.
There actually was a Grand Prix of Luxembourg in one season of F1.
Did it just like encompass the entire country?
No, so what it is that 1997 was the year, and they were originally going to have the season finale in Portugal at the Estoril track, but then Estoril kind of had money problems and couldn't come up to code for the race, so they moved the track to Jerez in Spain. So you had two races in Spain. You can't have two Spanish Grand Prix, so that became the European Grand Prix. Traditionally, the European Grand Prix was held at a German track called the Nürburgring, which was still on the calendar. So instead of being the Grand Prix of Germany or Europe, as Nürburgring had historically been, it became the Grand Prix of Luxembourg, despite not really being anywhere close to Luxembourg.
Dang. They should hold one in the Canary Islands
contact.
until that one island just falls off.
We got one of the Sutherlands off for sure. I think that's Neil Sutherland in the silver one. So we dropped them. Mika Watt is rejoining the track there. Not in the greatest fashion there, behind Freddie Avila. So we got a whole mess up here. Let's get there's Neil Sutherland rejoining. I saw him sideways on the track, so whatever happened, it involved him, and his car is clearly very gimped. So let's try and figure out where we are here. So top 5 are unchanged. Wentworth is up to 6th, Avila to 7th, What 8, Archer, Turcotte, Riccobeni, Sutherland, Keckley, Tan, Martin, Mitchell, Cheney. Bayless has fallen to 18th, so I think Bayless was involved in it. Martinez, Hemi and Yimbo, Santos, Sutherland, like I said. But Bayless and Sutherland were not very close together. Someone had to trigger this, because Bayless, if I recall correctly, was in 12th, and Sutherland was like in 8th. So I'm not really sure how they came together, but it appears that those two may have been involved in something and have dropped down the field.
Actually, they were jointly 17th the entire time. You're completely wrong.
Oh.
I have no idea. As per usual.
We have a bit of a mystery that maybe will come out in the stewarding section. So we've seen Paul Riccobeni get a punt. We've seen something happen involving Neil Sutherland and, in theory, Jamie Bayless. And that has basically been the biggest moments of the race so far, unfortunately. As Dominic Turcotte has caught up to the back of Mika Watt after Watt's series of incidents. Not sure what happened with Watt, but he is now side by side with Turcotte in that Allied Racing Porsche. He's looking for a way around, as well as a comeback drive from Riccobeni. And Mark Sutherland is in the mix there as well. William Murrow looking back at Stuart Bartosiak. This is 4th and 5th place behind Matt Higgs, who now has the lead. So something happened in the lead that we missed, because it was Boulanger. It is now Higgs. Max Simmons in 3rd. So interesting days going here. Mika Watt kind of leading a train here that composes of Dominic Turcotte, Paul Riccobeni, Mark Sutherland, Jake Keckley, Otan, Zach Martin, all in this group.
But what about Julio De La Vega Jr.?
Ooh, that's a good name.
See,
it's a good name, Bubba.
Julio De La Vega y dos. I'll have to ask Javier.
Oh, we got to look there. It is Freddie Avila. So there we go.
There you go. It's Federico Avila.
Well, he can't be Federico. We already have a Federico. That's Federico Vaz.
What about Federico Hunger?
That was Frederico's.
It's close enough.
That was the very Greek pronunciation.
Yeah, just put a little calamari on top of that. It's close enough.
Oh, Neil Sutherland in the pit lane.
Now I want some
calamari
calamari
as well. Calamari is tasty.
Delicious. The fucked up thing is you can't really order it, because by the time it gets to where you are, it's just not as good.
It's the sort of thing you got to get in the restaurant.
Yeah, you got to go there and have them bring it to you.
Whose Porsche is that's in the background? Yellow and silver. I'm not sure who that is. Could be Guillermo Martinez, I guess, by process of elimination. Also, I'm not sure what's going on with the camera here. This is confusing.
I was getting vaguely nauseous.
I don't know what's up with that, I think. So, you know what it is? Probably something on the recording computer is trying to update and try to force itself to the forefront. So there he is. So what is hung on? So after getting really rattled in his fight with John Archie, Mika Watt has stabilized. He's running pretty well. Murray is still being pressured by Bartosiak. Wentworth kind of on his own. Then it's Avila. Archie. There is Watt, followed by Turcotte, Riccobeni, and Sutherland. The rest of that group has kind of fallen off, back from like Otan and Jake Keckley, Martin, and so on. They've kind of fallen off. And we have 10 minutes to go. Good to see Dominic Turcotte running in the top 10. He's struggled with the Porsche, so I do admire that he's kind of gone back into the into an unpleasant chapter of his ESR career by going back to the Porsche. I'm not sure if the GT4 one will produce the same problems as the GT3, because it does feel a bit better, different. Jamie Bayless's front end looking quite messed up there. Pop bonnet, and it looks like the splitter is broken.
I would recommend splitting the splitter so you get more splits.
Not really
So
sure why
split time would be better, right?
Not really sure why we're here on the camera, because Bayless is 6 seconds behind Martinez and 5 ahead of Yimbo, so there's not any action. There we go. It's better. Turcotte versus Riccobeni versus Sutherland. Much better. This is a fight for 10th place. Gotta love it.
Somebody's done the math on Usain Bolt. You ready for this?
Hit me.
Usain Bolt earned 8 gold medals during his Olympic career. If you add up all of his finals times together, he ran 114 seconds. If you include the preliminary rounds, that number comes to 325 seconds. Usain Bolt earned a gold medal for every 36 seconds he competed at the Olympics. That's not even World Championships.
Greatest sprinter pretty much ever.
Yeah, I'd have to say.
Not much of a sprinting historian, but like I can't even really think of anything.
There hadn't been, like, I think Carl Lewis was the only, like, long-term running champion, but I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head if he did 100 meters.
I don't believe he did. Carl Lewis was always a little bit more of a long
like the 200 and 400,
runner.
I think.
The 200, 400 type thing, yeah.
Yeah, which doesn't get all the glory in the world. And also, I think he did steroids. So,
although I think he must have done the 100 meter, because I remember he was the one that got beat by Ben Johnson, and then the steroid problems came there to rob Canada of our pride and joy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. But I think later, didn't he get fucking nailed?
Oh, Carl Lewis was definitely on steroids. Look at the man's face. Like, there was some serious acne going on there. And it was the sort of thing where like it was there, it was not there, and then it was there, sort of thing. Like, some people just have bad skin. Like, that's a thing. Like, there was.
I think Wikipedia's got like paragraphs on like use of stimulants.
Yeah, like I think we were watching an MMA fight recently, and you were commenting on a guy who looked like he was on steroids, and I'm like, it's possible, but he's actually always had bad skin like that. So I don't know. It's possible that that's just what it is, bad skin. But Carl Lewis went from being like clear faced to like pockmarked, and it was like, William Murrah defends against Stuart Bartosiak. BMW versus Maserati. Two, in many ways, very similar cars. They're both kind of powerish cars, both front engine, but also very different, in the M4 being one of the more high-tech cars in the field, and of course the Maserati being notably lacking in technology because it has no electronic car aids. We were talking about it before. No ABS, no traction control. Freddie Avila, by the way, is made out of like a bandit. I mean, again, we don't know what happened. We kind of saw the aftermath of what looked like a big accident. But after that, he's picked up 7th place after qualifying 11th. So he's having a very, very solid run. Has not had a top 10 yet this season. And to be honest, has been a little bit in the sin bin, because 2 races in, he's had 35 seconds of time penalties. So, Mr. Avila, may I suggest that we need to keep this clean and bring this on home. But we'll see.
Give him hell, put him in the wall.
Well, I think he's been doing too much of that, actually, based on the penalties.
And then it went all Jeff Wentworth. Not all at Jeff Worth.
It would appear he has the most penalties of anybody, because he's lost 35 seconds. I'm not seeing anyone else above 10. Yep, nope. He is the most penalized driver in the field by some margin so far. So hopefully we see him clean it up.
What a bastard. I say we run him out of town with a chicken up his butt.
Neil Sutherland is back out there after having been in the pits earlier on, making his way through here. I don't think this is a battle for position. I believe he is down a lap to whichever Mercedes that is. Not sure who is sporting the Snake Mercedes this season. Could be Cliff Hemian or Antonio Santos. Or Zach Martin, maybe? I don't know. Oh, it's not Martin, because Martin's close to somebody else. At a guess, I'm going to say that it's Antonio Santos.
Antonio Sabato Jr.?
He's kind of in the middle of nowhere, 16 seconds back of Hemian, 14 seconds ahead of Caster, so that would kind of fit the visual bill we had there. Matt Higgs still leading from Don Boulanger. And in third place is still Max Simmons. You can see him there in the background in the silver and yellow Aston Martin. And black. I actually rather like the Academy Motorsports Aston Martins. They look very nice.
I think it looks like a totted up hussy and should be run out of town with a chicken up his butt.
Murrah still battling with Bartosiak, and then you go back to Wentworth, who has got about a second on Avila now, so Avila's got to worry more behind him about John Archie and Nico Watt. Dominic Turcotte has fallen back a bit. He's still fighting with Paul Riccobeni and Mark Sutherland. There's a battle going on between Keckley, Tan, Martin, Cheney, Mitchell, and Martinez. I'd love to get a shot of that. It's a long list of people fighting for a spot. And it's Yimbo on his own. And then there's a battle going on between Jamie Bayliss and Cliff Hemian, which we have not seen much of. And then I think Castor and Neil Sutherland and Santos are kind of more or less just chilling at this point. Their race is kind of run. They'll be bringing home 22nd, 23rd, and 24th place.
And 97th.
Oh, it looks like we lost Antonio Santos. He has vanished. That is disappointing. Hopefully he is back for race number 2. So we pick up Neil Sutherland in the Porsche Motorsport car, the factory car. John Archie has overtaken Freddie Avila, so no offense, Neil, but I would have probably wished to be on that battle, which just had an overtake as opposed to picking up the lapped car of Neil Sutherland, who's having a bit of a rough day. There is John Archie, now up to 7th place in the BMW. Avila on his tail, and Watt still in the shot. Coming down to the nitty-gritty here with probably one more lap after this. I'd like to give a shout out to somebody who's giving us a really good performance, but everyone's kind of... Oh no! Avila clips! That might get him another penalty! That was not good! There was no overlap there. Freddie Avila spins around John Archie. We'll see where they are now. Waiting for a timing update to see what that damage is done, because Wentworth's going to be breathing a sigh of relief. Well ahead now. That is now Mika Watt behind him. So Watt's up to 7th place. So Freddie Avila, good speed, a lot of good ability, a lot of promise, but maybe not the best judge of gaps right now. I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up before the Stewart, which in this case I believe is Jeff Wentworth.
You're talking hot
there we
Stewart
are.
or regular Stewart?
Regular Stewart.
Wow.
So Wentworth, Watt, Riccobeni, Turcotte, Sutherland all overtaking Archie and Avila, who rejoin in 11th and 12th place. Freddie Avila ruining his first chance at a top 10 there as well, so that's very disappointing. This would be Dominic Turcotte's first top... Actually, Turcotte's not raced in a race previous to this in this series, so on the verge of a top 10 in his debut. Everybody else in the top 10 does have one already. Right on board with John Archie. Let's see. Archie's had a pretty good season so far. 9th in at Brands Hatch and 7th at 6th at Snetterton. So he'll be a little bit disappointed to be outside the top 10 here as we pick up Paul Riccobeni, who's in the car I was in last season. Audi. Only one in the field. I've given my thoughts on this car before. It's not very good. But Paul is a top-notch driver, and I have no doubt that he will be able to generate some good results out of it, and he's coming off a podium at Snetterton. So, as if to prove me wrong, he has gotten the car already to the podium. As well as, well, no, Brands Hatch was pretty bad, so really just Snetterton that is successful.
And in other Paul Riccobeni news, I have intrigued him greatly with the use of Beluga gifts.
Actually, I would say in Paul Riccobeni, 2 days ago, we gave him the black market acupuncture in Super Mega Baseball.
These are possibly also true things. And apparently I got stung by wasps last week.
Oh, that's not good.
He was doing some digging, and guess what? Those fuckers don't like it.
No, not really. Mark Sutherland is kind of out of nowhere, honestly, picked up a top 10 position here. He was 6th in his debut at Brands Hatch, coming off of a pit stop snafu at Snetterton, which saw him finish 19th. So, good redemption run here so far. Might still be able to improve. He's got Turcotte and Riccobeni ahead of him, but not much time. Just this Wellington straight run down here and then into Brooklands and Lovefield. And I believe that'll be the end of the race for him. Because I think... No, probably getting another lap, actually. Oh, no, there we go. All right, Higgs is your race winner. Boulanger second. I believe that is our third different winner in the series, and indeed it is. So Boulanger, Simmons, Murrah, Bartosiak, Wentworth in 6th. Watt 7th, Riccobeni 8th, 9th for Turcotte, 10th for Sutherland. Rebound run for Sutherland. Then it's John Archie. Freddie Avila may be facing a penalty. We never got a good look at Otan, so we still don't know the first name. 13th place, Zach Martin, Jake Keckley, Art Mitchell. Good work, Art Mitchell. What was he? Was he in Centerton? He DNF'd at Centerton. So that's his first point scoring. That's his first finish of the season. Trevor Cheney, Tony Yumbo. 19th place looks like it's going to be Guillermo Martinez. Bayless and... Oh, no! Okay, he dropped to 21st place. Oh, how did we not get that on camera? We were looking in the pit lane as opposed to what apparently was a three-way fight for 19th place.
Dang.
That would have been way more interesting. Apparently, Bayless won the battle for that, ahead of Hemian and Martinez. Castor, 22nd. Sutherland, 23rd. So we have indeed had 3 different winners. Jeff Wentworth triumphing at Brands Hatch, Snetterton going to Stuart Bartosiak, and now Matt Higgs here at Silverstone. Will the... what do you think, Byron? Will the trend continue? Will we get a 4th different winner?
We will have a 19th different winner, because we're going to have a lot of people who just tie for first.
All right. Who do you... Okay, if you had to pick someone who has not won this season, who is going to win race number 4 here, who you got?
Javier Perez Torres.
I feel like Dom Boulanger is probably the candidate. He finished just 3/10 off there. He has been second at both Snetterton and Silverstone. I feel like he's our best bet.
Wrong, Mike Stoffmill.
But I could also see someone like a Max Simmons or a William Murrah coming through to bring home victory, because they had moments. Murrah really came through the field very, very nicely in the early going, hopefully without penalty. And we wait here for race number 2. I don't really have a shout-out finisher because I hate to say this, but almost everyone kind of performed like we're used to them performing. No, okay. Art Mitchell. Art Mitchell's my shout-out performer of the day. He got 16th place. That's a really solid effort from him. And I believe that is his first ESR finish. So definitely deserves a hearty chest bump.
Did you know that Usain Bolt has 11 world championships?
I was aware of that, actually.
And 2 second places.
Oh.
Men has almost as many gold medals as world championships, and they do the world championships every year, don't they?
I believe you are correct. It's either every year or maybe every 2 years.
It's still a lot, dog.
Mm.
Oh, and he would have had one more with that stupid DQ in the 4x100 in Beijing.
Oh.
For the Olympics, yeah. Interesting. Like somebody stepped out of their lane, or there was like a foot.
Oh, there we go. Ori Tan. That is Otan's name. There we go.
Orville Tannenbaum.
We have it. I'm suspecting that's a fake name because he says his name in Discord is Connor.
Well, there you go.
Feel like that's kind of unlikely, but oh well. as we get ready here for race number 2. We got some plenty of time here. I've got a message on Discord. I'm going to check that out.
It's not me.
It is not you. It is a racer probably asking you. Okay. Somebody is trying to find a team for 3D speed, and people are not having them. I'm a little disappointed in people. I'm a little disappointed that people are not more willing to take a hand and take a bronze driver on board, because the way I've constructed the teams, bronze drivers are important and very, very valuable, and I think people are not really realizing that,
Well,
which
you
is
know what?
disappointing.
If they don't take that person, then they have to take me, and I'm never going to show up.
So let's see here. Who's looking for the redemption? Neil Sutherland, I guess, would be the obvious choice for a redemption run. He's starting in 6th place after finishing 23rd in race 1. So hopefully he can do something, restore a little bit of dignity to his race. Jamie Bayliss would be another one. Finished kind of far down the pecking order. Freddie Avila probably would like a little bit of redemption as well. Yeah, William Murr came from 8th place up to 4th in race 1. So we'll see if he can do it again. Although that 8th place qualifying feels a little bit low for him. William Murr is definitely a top 3 guy. Let's see what he can do. Such a long queue time.
That's because incompetence and ineptitude and people being asleep at the wheel.
Mika Watt absolutely dominated the silver there in race 1 because he got a top 10 finish, and I don't think it was a particularly good race for Bayless, Martin, Tan, Martinez, or Yimbo, or Hemian. So let's have a look at the silver standings here real quick. Silver, silver, silver. Yeah, he's had a really good run so far. 3rd at Brands Hatch, 8th at Snetterton, and now 7th here at Silverstone. The next highest finishing silver car in each of those races were Ori Tan in 11th place, 10th place for Zach Martin at Snetterton, and 13th place for Ori Tan at Silverstone. So he is absolutely dominating the silver championship right now. And a chance to make that even further. The bronze championship is currently being led by Trevor Cheney, who's got a 12th, 9th, and a 17th to his name. His only real competition is Skylar Castor, who's been 18th, 18th, and 22nd. So that also feels like a very one-way track, although some interesting bronze is still there, just not here today. Diego Alonso, for example, I think is always a tough out. He's a solid driver. Although, admittedly, a lot of the big bronze names from 3D Speed, such as Benjamin Adamian and Andreas Lasutis, are absent from the field. So that does help the Cheneys out. And then in the teams championship, a pretty dominant lead for maxed out Mika Sports, the team of Max Simmons and Mika Watt, which is a pretty powerful team. Though one would think that at some point V8 Racing by OTL, which is the two Cheneys, Jake Keckley and Skylar Castor, through weight of numbers would be able to do something. Although I guess that is 3 bronze drivers, so that might be a bit of a problem. BMW Sim Racing, Carbons Racing in the mix, Momo Fine, which is the Sutherlands, and Antimatter Autosports. That's not bad. That's not bad. Ayrton Tobin, Cole McRae, and Arthur Bellotti. That's a bit of a weird combination. I wasn't aware that Arthur Bellotti was tight with the Tobin McRae clan.
Well, I believe they bribed him.
Could be. Could be. He also has not attended a race yet, so if they did bribe him, money not well spent.
Well, I never claimed that they were sound investors.
It's been a struggling season for the team. They have so Cole McRae has finished 17th in DNF 2 races. Tobin is DNF the only race he attended, and they have not had Bellotti attend at all. So, rough times, rough times in the antimatter pits with their Janetta. But hopefully Cole McRae can do something in this race. He starts from 24th place. Looks like Antonio Santos did not join the field. And we're missing somebody else too, because we had 25 cars, and then Cole joined, that was 26. So we're down Santos and somebody else. Looking at Race App to see if I can find who it was, but it doesn't look like there is anybody. So maybe I'm misremembering.
Perhaps you are all hallucinating off of the funny juice.
Maybe. Here we go at Silverstone. We ride on the rear view mirror or the rear bumper of Zach Martin, who is getting some erroneous data because I don't think he's in the lead. As we head through Cops, heading down towards Maggots and Beckett's. Art Mitchell looks like he's had a bit of a rough start. Gets past Cliff Hemian. Oh, contact! We got Jamie Bayliss, I think, spinning out there. And one of the Aston Martins off with them as well. That was a Academy Motorsports car. It's either Mika Watt or Max Simmons, and Simmons is in 4th place, so I'm going to go with it is Mika Watt. And Jamie Bayliss also makes sense. They qualify quite close to each other, so maybe coming to blows in Maggots and Beckett's, which would not be good. And they are well off the back now. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. You can't win the race on lap 1, but you can lose it. And not that I think Bayliss or Watt is looking at a race victory here today, but any hope of a decent result has been kind of thrown out the door with that. And Cole McRae is maybe our big mover and shaker up to 18th place as we look back to him from Zach Martin's car.
I disagree with your assessment. You totally can win the race on the first lap. You just have to brake in the right spot.
No, not really.
And then everybody crashes behind you, and you just go on away.
Normally you get murdered, though, when that happens, so you end up out of the race, too.
Well, you gotta pick your spot.
I don't know if there's a spot. That's kind of what I'm getting
There's always
at.
a spot.
Really? Well, Macau there is.
Correct.
But anywhere but Macau, I'm not sure that is actually the truth. In the meantime, one of the BMWs jumping down the inside there. That might be Art Mitchell, maybe? That is Mark Sutherland they are battling with. I think that is Art Mitchell, yes. As well as Trevor Cheney, the bronze leader. So I can see Don Belanger is in 2nd. I see Matt Higgs is in 3rd. By process of elimination, I'm assuming the Maserati of Bartosiak has retained the lead. So I'm going to go with Bartosiak, Belanger, Higgs, Simmons, Riccobeni, Neil Sutherland, Murrah, Wentworth. Avila's up into 9th place. Very good start for him. And then it is Archie, Turcotte, Tan, Martinez, Keckley, Yimbo, Martin, McRae, Mark Sutherland, Mitchell, Cheney, Hemi, and Castor. And then way back, well, actually, Mika Watt's caught up to the back of Castor already. So he's back in this. One of the Porsches absolutely cutting Maggots and Beckett's there. I think that was Guillermo Martinez. That's definitely a track cut penalty there. Yeah, he's dropping back as he kind of retakes his position there.
Oh, that's right, because we were making Ori and the Blind Forest fucking joke. Or I was making Ori and the Blind Forest jokes.
We were.
And then the sequel, Ori and the Deaf Meadow.
I also could make Ori jokes from Stargate.
You could. But nobody knows what that is.
I feel like probably some of our audience knows Stargate.
I feel like you're probably not wrong.
Don't get me wrong, it was from the part of Stargate where things started to kind of go downhill. You know? That was... it was kind of a show that stayed a little bit after its best before date.
Oh, sure, they bring on Robert Carlyle, and you're all like, I don't like him, he's too British.
Well, no, that's the Universe one, which I enjoyed. I actually really enjoyed that.
It looked really, really, really good, and I just never got around to watching it. I do enjoy me some Robert Carlyle.
It was quite good. I thought it was one of the... Oh, that is Ori Tan sideways on the track, I do believe.
Well, shit.
So he is falling down the order. I think that is. Anyways, it was a McLaren, and it was white and blue. And I think the only white and blue McLaren is Ori Tan. So I think that's Ori Tan.
Are you going to start singing your national anthem, Black and Yellow?
Nope.
I think there's only two, or there's only three words of black and yellow, and he just repeats it for 3.5 minutes.
Black and yellow.
Man, so I went down a minor rabbit hole of, after Usain Bolt, all kinds of like sprinters and stuff.
Okay.
It turns out a lot of the American sprinters that broke the world record also got immediately busted for steroids.
Yeah, it tends to be the case in sprinting.
Your boy Asafa Powell basically been holding the flag until your boy Usain Bolt showed up.
So Ori Tan in 23rd place now behind, I'm assuming, Jamie Bayliss. Says Bayliss at the side there. That is definitely a McLaren he's chasing. So we'll go with that. Caster at the back now. Let's pick up Cliff Hemian, who is defending against Guillermo Martinez for 20th place. He has just lost a spot to Mika Watt and Luzanilla. I am thinking he's got some serious damage. I'd like a look at Cliff's front end because he just got left for dead there on a straightaway by the Porsche of Guillermo Martinez. And that is not normally what you would see. So it would not surprise me if Hemian's got some significant damage on the front end right now.
Your boy Tim Montgomery, American sprinter, broke the world record. Got immediately busted like the next, didn't even qualify for the next Olympic Games, got busted for steroids, and then later on got busted for money laundering, and then later on got busted for heroin dealing.
Oh boy.
My goodness.
That's rough. That's rough. By the way, I think I gotta point this out. Mika Watt looks like he's gotten incredibly fortunate off of that lap 1 incident because he's cutting his way through traffic, which to me signifies that his Aston Martin is actually still more or less intact after whatever contact he endured. So that is good for him. Trevor Chaney battling with Mark Sutherland. Sutherland's having a bad day. Oh my God, Cole McRae off the track. And then he is bumping and grinding with one of the Mercedes and sends it flying off. I'm guessing that was Zach Martin. Actually not seeing what livery he's sporting. But McRae just absolutely dusting him. I don't know how you avoid a penalty for that. But we'll see. We'll see.
You bribe him with macaroni, and when he throws it out in disgust because macaroni's disgusting, then you try something else.
I must say, a lot of the times the camera misses some of the bad driving that we have in the race, and we don't get to break it down. But it's been pretty on point here today because we've seen a couple of just straight up get out of the way moments, which probably should result in some penalties. We'll see. It does happen when you put it down to like a 25-minute race in this. People do get impatient. People do get aggressive. And I think we've seen a couple of cars let the pressure get the better of them, and they've gone for some moves that aren't truly on. And one of those was Freddie Avila, of course, in race 1, who took out John Archie, and he's now ahead of John Archie. And let's put it this way: if I'm Freddie Avila right now, I am really hoping that John Archie has a very short-term memory and doesn't remember what happened in race 1, because we might see a little bit of contact, a little bit of the Chrome Horn, as Martin has rejoined in 20th place after being spun by the Ginetta of Cole McRae. Down the inside, Trevor Chaney going too wide with Tony Yimbo, I think, is the yellow Aston Martin. But that was Jake Keckley actually getting overtaken. Okay. So yeah, that was Yimbo taking 12th spot off of Keckley. He's having a good second race here.
In current actual news that just crossed my newsfeed, British sprinter has been busted for steroids, like from the Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, sprinting I think has the most steroid PED busts of any Olympic sport.
Well, probably also
by
cycling.
a long shot.
Well, busts actually. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's almost every Olympics, and we get a couple of sprinter busts, which makes sense. I mean, it's an incredible explosive based sport, which is kind of the complete wheelhouse of the steroids. So it makes sense. Trevor Chaney, by the way, somehow has gotten past Keckley and past Kimbo. I would have loved to see that, but we didn't get that. We're catching the bad driving, but not the nice overtakes that are happening through the field, because there's been some good ones. Oh, my lord. Guillermo Martinez in the background going way off as he battles with Mika Lutt. Paul Riccobeni having a good run here in 5th place. Good work for Paul. Had 8th in race 1, coming off a podium at Snetterton. Really kind of making that Audi have its best moments of the of ESR history, frankly. Pick up Jake Keckley, who's looking back at Art Mitchell. And is running behind Mark Sutherland, Tony Yimbo, and teammate Trevor Chaney, who's having a very good run in 12th place. Oh, Mitchell getting a little bit deep there into Brooklyn's Love Field. And Mika Watt and Guillermo Martinez are licking their chops in behind him. Art Mitchell, there we go. That's a good work of from the cameraman. Bring us this fight. I think this is going to be interesting. No disrespect to Art Mitchell intended, but I think he's maybe a little out of his league here with 2 quality drivers like Watt and Martinez, as we pick up William Murrah, who has not had the race he had in race 1 where he came up to 4th place, but he has made up a spot, and that's not bad. Back at Jeff Wentworth and Freddie Avila having a scrap. Oh, Lord, was that Matt Higgs?
It is now.
That was Matt Higgs.
If it isn't, we'll make up a story and say it was.
I'm pretty sure that was Matt Higgs. We need a timing update here. Yeah, it is Matt Higgs. So something happened with Matt Higgs. He went off at Brooklands and Love Field, and Murrah is now ahead of him. So Higgs is down to 7th place as a result of that. I don't know what happened. He was battling for a podium, and finds himself at the side of the track.
I find that to be unusual because this is not the last lap of the race.
It's true. Matt Higgs does have a tendency to throw it away very late in races. I think I was saying to someone, Matt Higgs has thrown away something like 8 victories this year.
From the jaws of victory.
From the jaws of victory, Matt Higgs will find defeat. And it looks like that may have happened again. Although he wasn't in the lead this time, but he was fighting for a podium. Now he's back in 7th place, and he's got to deal with the very aggressive wheel stylings of William Murrah, which is going to make it very hard to go through the grid and get back in that fight. Freddie Avila and John Archie in the background are fighting. I'd love to get the camera on that, please. We don't have a camera guy, so we're at the whims of the auto director picking up that fight.
I always thought that Asafa Powell, every time I see him in an Olympics or a World Championship, I'm like, man, that guy's still racing? That guy's old as fuck. That guy's been racing for forever. Turns out he's 2 years younger than I am. Damn it.
I mean, by the Olympics stature, that is old.
I guess, but it just, for some reason or other, I always pictured him as being much older than I am.
Again, please let it be known, when I'm talking about sports people or racers and I say that they are old, they are not old like for this earth. They are old for their particular profession.
Mike means that they are literally all 97 years old.
Had that in some movie I was watching recently had that line. You old. I don't mean like old for this earth, but like old for this. As Murrah loses a spot there to Higgs. Good move by Higgs. I wish we had gotten a view of that wasn't on the back window of Higgs. It's a very weird way to watch an overtake. The camera is loving this rear wing view. I don't think we've ever seen this much of it. Paul Riccobeni in 4th place. Looking back at Neil Sutherland. Still Bartosiak leading by 2 seconds ahead of Boulanger. Simmons on the podium again right now. Then it's Riccobeni, Sutherland, Higgs, Murrah. Not much action in the top 7 right now. It's a little bit further back with Wentworth battling with Avila and Archie. Turcotte 11th. Trevor Cheney still having a good run. We got a drive-through penalty for Art Mitchell. It'll be for track cuts, I'd imagine. So we ride with Jamie Bayliss in a McLaren bragging rights battle with Ori Tan. Bayliss, once again, sporting a lot of damage. Been a rough day for Bayliss as they come up to Stowe, and Ori Tan will take the spot. And for the time being, be up to 22nd place. Zach Martin's had a rough second race here after a pretty good first one. Running in 19th position. Good to see Cole McRae in the Ginetta is still running in 21st. Look to get some points.
You think that Ori comes in other colors as well?
I imagine there's an Ori black and an Ori white, Ori green.
Your boy Ori khaki.
Actually, you should really try an Orion blue car. That'll be pretty. Matt Higgs, William Murrow, longtime 3D speed rivals, fought for the championship last season. Murrow's not really in the championship fight this season after a DNF at Snetterton and a really bad run to 23rd place in Brands Hatch. So he's trying to get back into this. And the 4th place in race 1 here will help. But it's been a rough time.
That's what you get when you go down to an entire town of Snetters.
It doesn't seem like that it really particularly agrees with the BMW M4 as Art Mitchell is falling through the field. I assume that he is serving his drive-through. Yep, there it is. He's in the pits to serve the drive-through penalty. So Ori Tan has somehow fallen back behind Jamie Bayliss. I wonder, part of me wants to wonder if like Ori Tan is just kind of keeping this fight going, knowing that there's really nothing else for him to compete for. Maybe, I don't know, maybe try to sharpen the wheel-to-wheel skills, because there's no way that Tan shouldn't pull away from that damage to McLaren. They are battling for it.
Battle. Destroy them all.
Indeed. Briefly had a shot there, Jamie Bayliss, and now we're coasting along everyone's rear wing right now. I don't know why. We're seeing nothing here, camera guy.
Hootie.
Mark Sutherland in 5th place. Not really sure what's going on with the camera settings here today. I've never seen it love the rear cam nearly this much before, and
I like them big. I like them juicy.
There's a lot of action that we could be looking at right now, like looking at the gaps at the side there. There's a lot of fights I'd love to be looking at, and instead, no offense, but we're getting Neil Sutherland's rear wing.
We're watching the Sutherland's Northerland, and quite frankly, it's as big as Greenland.
Well, wouldn't this be south?
Depends
Sutherland?
on which direction he's driving.
That's true. Skylar Castor riding at the back of the pack. Not too far from Art Mitchell, though, after Mitchell served his penalty, so could be some action here. Like, there's a lot of good battles going. Like, Wentworth versus Avila. I'd love to get that fight. I'd love to look at Cheney versus Sutherland versus Keckley versus Martinez. Like, can we get a camera on that?
I thought for half a second we had a rapper here in the ESR. There's a rapper named Sky Zoo, and his name's Gregory Skylar Taylor. So I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, time out. What's Sky Zoo's real name again? Brooklyn.
Instead, we're getting a really, really good look at the rear end of a Chevrolet Camaro. Not really sure what's up with this. I apologize for our auto director, which is not doing a very good job right now.
That ass.
I mean, that is the biggest ass in the field. Completely honest. It's thick.
I like it when they go around the corner real fast like that.
Maggots and Beckett's. Very.
Gross.
This is a very, very conservative line through Maggots and Beckett's. I think that's probably a place where Skylar Caster could gain a lot of time with a more aggressive run through there. But it's all what you're comfortable with. That is a kind of an iconically difficult section of the track. There's something going on with Trevor Chaney falling through the ranks, but we're not getting the camera on it, so it is what it is, I guess. Mark Sutherland also falling, so I'm gonna hypothesize maybe Chaney and Sutherland had a little rub in his racing moment. Wow, Sutherland is falling way down behind like Bayless and Ori Tan.
Good old Ori Khaki.
So Mark Sutherland came off really bad on that one. Neil Sutherland came off really bad in race 1. So it looks like the two Sutherlands just can't get on the same page as far as having a good race here. As we still have a yellow flag though. Zach Martin off the track apparently. Wow.
Martin.
A lot of things we could be looking at right now outside of the rear wing of a Chevrolet Camaro. I'm just saying. Bartosiak still leads from Belanger, Simmons, Riccobeni, Sutherland, Higgs, Murrah, Archie, Turcotte, and Wentworth. Avila has fallen out of the top 10, so something happened there. He's down to 11th. Mika Watt, Jake Keckley, Guillermo Martinez, Trevor Chaney, Toby Yimbo, Cole McRae, Cliff Hemian, JB Bayless, Ori Tan, Mark Sutherland, Art Mitchell, Skylar Caster, and Zach Martin still running. I don't know about Martin.
Dave as well.
You know what? It's stunning that we don't have a Dave. Like
Dave,
with all,
would you say verifiably that Dave is not here?
Dave is not here.
Dave's not here, man.
With all the Daves that we have in ESR, Dave James, Dave Jones, Dave Nelson, Adam David Rush, Dave Fight, we have no Daves in the field today. It's very weird.
Fight me. Like
I think Dave is the most common name we have in all of ESR.
Do we have any Mexicanos? They could be Davides.
Or Italians. We could have Italians. Davide.
David, drive my car. David, drive my car.
But yeah, no Daves in this field. It's quite surprising.
Is it true that the person who finishes in last place will have to assume the identity of Cole McRae?
Well, right now it'd be Zach Martin, and you might be right.
Cole, I didn't want to have to tell you like this, but there it is.
Oh, Cole McRae in the pit lane.
Whoa, what if Cole McRae finishes last? He has to assume his own identity.
I mean, I guess Cole McRae remains Cole McRae then.
Does he have to change his name to Crail McCoy?
Cole's out. Zach Martin's out too, actually.
Cole!
So Skylar Caster is actually in last place now. Looks like we what I'm going to. I know Cole's been having some issues with the force feedback on his wheels. So I'm wondering if maybe he pitted with force feedback issues and then left, which is a mistake because even if he stayed in the pit lane, there's only 95 seconds left in the race. He could have just taken home a result while sitting in the pit lane. I think that's if I were his team, I'd be kind of disappointed about that. Although, mind you, the Antimatter Autosport crew has not been the most serious. As we got a drive-through penalty for Jamie Bayless. That is presumably for track cuts.
Are you saying they're not as tenacious as Stuart the Heart Attack Bartosiak?
Well, Stuart Bartosiak is extra. vicious and
Said tenacious.
serious. Tenacious.
God.
Well, it's both. It's both. He's tenacious and vicious.
Wow. You're saying he's a mean and horrible person.
I mean, that's what it takes to win racing, my friend.
That's fair.
Like Michael Schumacher was not a nice guy.
That's why everybody gets spun and I end up at first.
In fact, I was watching the story of the 1997 Jerez Grand Prix where Michael Schumacher got himself disqualified from the entire season. It was so for those who are unaware, we got Matt Higgs being caught up by Neil Sutherland. Or actually, I think he caught and passed Sutherland. Actually, because I think Sutherland was ahead of him. Michael Schumacher and Jacques Villeneuve came into the 97 season finale at Jerez, Spain, battling for the championship. It was an interesting weekend because actually that was the weekend where 3 cars did the exact same pole time. It was the 2 of them and Heinz-Harald Frentzen all did the same time in qualifying. And then in the race, while they were battling for the lead, Villeneuve got ahead of Schumacher, and Schumacher just smashed into his car. And everybody was giving him shit for like trying to intentionally wreck Villeneuve to win the title the way he did in '94. And he ended up getting disqualified and excluded from the entire championship. It was one of the bigger F1 scandals in recent memory. I mean, probably not at the level of Crashgate or Spygate or I don't really know why we put Gate on the end of all scandals. But
it's because of Watergate.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems like it's become even like bigger recently.
Well, it's not become bigger. It's the media's insanely lazy. That's why everybody with the last name Rodriguez gets the A-Rod, B-Rod, C-Rod, D-Rod, E-Rod. Like, they just can't fucking say Rodriguez. Because they're either dumb, lazy, or maybe prejudiced. I don't know. Probably not prejudiced.
Probably a little bit. Stuart Bartosiak ruins our run of different winners because he won at Snetterton and now has one at Silverstone. So he's got 2 wins on the season. Dom Boulanger takes second for the 3rd consecutive race. He'll break through eventually, I think. Simmons 3rd, Riccobeni, Higgs, Sutherland, Archie, and Murrah, your top 8. As we await the checkered flags to fly over everyone. Turcotte and Wentworth will probably take home top 10s. Yes, they will. Freddie Avila coming home in 11th place ahead of Mika Watt. Good recovery drive for him after contact on lap 1. Guillermo Martinez, Jake Keckley, Trevor Chaney, Tony Yimbo. Yep. Yimbo 16th. 17th, we're waiting for Cliff Hemian in the black Mercedes to round the final corner. That was your cue, Cliff. Where are you?
Maybe he drove off a cliff.
Oh, I think I hear him. There he is. Cliff Hemian coming in ahead of Mark Sutherland, and now we're waiting on Art Mitchell, who is shown in 20th place. He's that multicolor BMW. We're also waiting on Jamie Bayless and Skylar Castor to finish up the race. As people are leaving, so it's throwing off our position chart. There's Art Mitchell. There's Jamie Bayless. They both picked up a drive-through penalty, presumably for track cuts. I really don't think you can get anything else without a pit stop violation. And there are no pit stops in this series, or at least not today. And we are done. All right, so championship standings. With his win here today, Stuart Bartosiak is your championship leader by 2 points over Dom Boulanger, who's taken 3 second places. Max Simmons is also on 3 podiums and in 3rd place. Very nice. Matt Higgs, race 1 leader, is in 4th. So it's a really, really good 5-way battle we got going here because Jeff Wentworth in 5th is only 22 seconds off of the 1st place car. Paul Riccobeni, Mika Watt, John Archie, Neil Sutherland, and William Murrah round off your top 10, followed by Mark Sutherland, Ori Tan, Trevor Chaney, Freddie Avila, Jake Keckley, Cliff Hemian, Jamie Bayless, Dominic Turcotte, Tony Yimbo, and Zachary Martin, your top 20. Teams Championship. Maxed Out Mika Sports leads with 579 ahead of 510 for V8 Racing by OTL. BMW Sim Racing on 489. The Carbones crew on 461, 359 for Momo Fine, and Antimatter on 38 points. That's kind of embarrassing, that total for Antimatter. Bronze is led by Trevor Cheney from Skylar Caster and Diego Alonso. Your Silver Cup lead is Mika Watt over Ori Tan and Cliff Hemian. Next up on the calendar, like I said, is Oulton Park. Should be interesting. I'm not super familiar with that circuit, so I'm intrigued to see what happens. And Byron, do you have any final thoughts?
Aston Martin.